I'm 84 years old now. Most mornings my body wakes up before my mind does. The light comes in through the same window it has for years, pale, careful, like it doesn't want to disturb me. I sit on the edge of the bed longer than I used to, waiting for the stiffness to loosen its grip, waiting for my breath to feel normal again, waiting for the small ache in my chest to remind me that I'm still here. Cancer didn't kill me, but it changed everything. People think survival is the hard part. It isn't. Living afterward is harder, especially when you realize how quiet your life has become. I spend a lot of time in the kitchen, not cooking much, just standing there. The refrigerator hums. The clock ticks too loudly. Sometimes I open a drawer just to hear something move. Proof that things still respond when I touch them. Before I got sick, I thought I knew who mattered. I thought I knew who would show up if things ever went bad. I had a neat list in my head. Family, friends, people I'd known for decades. People who said things like, "You're not alone." Then I got the diagnosis. Stage 3. The doctor said it carefully, like the words might bruise me if he dropped them too fast. I nodded, asked a few practical questions, treatment options, schedules, side effects. I remember thinking I was handling it well. I remember feeling almost proud of how calm I sounded. What I didn't think about was who I would tell first, or who wouldn't answer. At the beginning, there were calls, messages, concern. People saying they'd stop by once things settled. People asking to be kept updated. I believed them. I wrote things down so I wouldn't forget who to call back. Chemotherapy started. My hair thinned. Food tasted like metal. I got tired in a way that sleep didn't fix. I learned the rhythm of hospital hallways, the smell of disinfectant, the way nurses try to smile with their eyes when their mouths are tired. Weeks passed, then months. The phone rang less, messages became shorter. Some names disappeared entirely, not all at once, quietly, like someone slipping out of a room while you're looking the other way. I remember one afternoon very clearly. I was sitting in a chair by the window, blanket over my legs, IV still taped to my arm. I checked my phone. No missed calls, no new messages. It was my birthday. I hadn't told anyone not to call. I just hadn't reminded them either. That was the moment something shifted. It wasn't anger, it was understanding. Cancer didn't make people leave. It just made it harder for them to pretend they were still there. Some people couldn't stand the slowness of my days, the repetition, the fact that I no longer had good news. Others didn't know what to say once jokes stopped working. A few, I think, were scared, as if being close to me meant standing too near the edge themselves. I don't blame them as much as I used to. At my age, blame feels heavy. I carry enough already. What hurts more is realizing how long some of them had been gone before I ever got sick. We were already living parallel lives. The illness just removed the polite excuses. Family was harder. There are things you expect from blood. I expected too much, I think. Or maybe I expected honesty. Visits became brief. Conversations stayed on the surface. Nobody wanted to talk about what might happen next. It made them uncomfortable, so we talked about the weather, or television, or nothing at all. After a while, I stopped bringing it up. I learned which parts of myself made people uneasy. I folded those parts away. When treatment ended, everyone seemed relieved. They acted as if the story was over, as if survival meant resolution. But I came home weaker than before. Quieter, changed in ways that didn't show on scans. The world had moved on. I hadn't. Friends had new routines, new worries, new versions of themselves that didn't include me. I didn't fit easily anymore. I was the reminder they didn't want, the living proof that things can break without warning. There are nights I sit in my chair and replay conversations from years ago. Small moments where I chose work over people, comfort over effort, silence over honesty. I see now how often I was unavailable when others needed me. How often I assumed time would wait. Cancer didn't just show me who was already gone. It showed me who I had been. That realization doesn't come all at once. It comes slowly, like water seeping into cracks you didn't know were there. You don't notice until something collapses. I used to think loneliness was loud, crying, desperation, panic. But the kind I know now is quieter. It's realizing no one would notice if you didn't speak for days. It's learning how to carry your own thoughts without setting them down anywhere. Still, I wake up. I make coffee. I sit by the window. I pay attention to the light. I listen to the clock. Because this is what's left. And I'm still here to tell it. I'm still 84. That hasn't changed since the last time I spoke. What has changed is how much I notice time now. Not in big pieces. In minutes. In pauses. In the space between one breath and the next. After the cancer treatments ended, people assumed I would go back to who I was before. They said things like, "You beat it," or "You're strong," as if strength returns you to the same place, as if surviving is a rewind button. It isn't. I came home thinner, slower, less certain of my own body. My hands shook sometimes when I poured water. I forgot words mid-sentence, not the important ones, the ordinary ones, the kind that make conversations stall. People don't like waiting while you search your mind, so they stopped waiting. Days settled into a pattern. Wake up, sit, rest, walk a little, rest again. I used to apologize for how little I could do. Now I just don't explain. Explanations feel like asking permission to exist. There was a time I tried to reach out. I really did. I made calls I'd been putting off for years, old friends, relatives I hadn't spoken to since before the illness. I didn't bring up cancer. I just wanted to hear a familiar voice. Some didn't answer. Some said they were busy. Some sounded surprised, like I'd dialed the wrong decade. After a while, I stopped trying. Not because it didn't hurt, but because it hurt in the same way every time. The hardest part isn't being alone. It's knowing that if I disappeared tomorrow, most people would say, "I thought he was already gone." Not out of cruelty, out of habit. There's a strange guilt that comes with that. Like I failed at staying visible, like I let myself fade too quietly. I think about my wife often. She died before the cancer. Some nights I talk to her in my head, tell her what the days are like now, tell her how empty the house sounds, how silence has weight when it lasts long enough. When she died, people brought food, sat with me, checked in. When I got sick, they expected me to manage. Illness is less tidy than death. It doesn't come with a clear script. I don't hate anyone for leaving. Hate requires energy. I save mine. But I do wish we were more honest with each other when time was easier. I wish I had said what mattered when my voice was stronger. I wish I had asked for help without pretending I didn't need it. Cancer took a lot from me. My strength, my appetite, my sense of safety in my own body. But what it really did was remove the illusion. It showed me which relationships were built on routine instead of care. Which ones only existed when I could contribute. Which ones faded the moment I became inconvenient. That knowledge stays with you. If you're listening to this and someone in your life is sick or quiet or slowly pulling away, don't assume they're fine because they don't ask. Pride lasts longer than strength. Silence often means someone doesn't know how to be a burden. As for me, I've stopped waiting for people to come back. I take the days as they arrive. I notice small things, a warm cup, a memory that doesn't hurt as much as it used to, the fact that I can still sit here and tell the truth. Cancer showed me who was already gone, but it also showed me who I still am. If this meant something to you, I'm glad you listened.